there! I hope you're doing well! Today I'm going to be talking about tips for incoming freshmen. Sorry for the late upload, I hope you'll still enjoy. So my first tip is to attend orientations, whether that be online or in person, though most of them this year will probably be online. They let you meet other people and find friends before the school year starts, so it'll be a lot less nerve-wracking. You get to learn where all your classes are and how to navigate the building so you're less likely to get lost. And you can meet some of your teachers in advance. This means that you can get to know them and their teaching style better to prepare yourself. And they'll also know who you are, so it'll be easier to ask questions. You should also try to meet new people and not just hang out with people that you already knew. Try and find a group of close friends, but don't feel like you have to be limited to just that group. Talking to a lot of people with different hobbies and opinions would broaden your horizon and your diversity. My next tip is to join clubs and extracurriculars. Unfortunately, my school didn't have any that I could join my freshman year, but if your school has some, try to join a mix of activities that you think you'll like and also try a few things that you've never tried. Basically, try many different things, but don't be afraid to drop whichever one you don't like or doesn't fit in your schedule. Try as many things as you can in your first year since you'll most likely be the least busy that year, and you can only continue with what you actually enjoy doing within the next few years after freshman year. My next tip is to practice good habits during the first year, because then it'll be so much easier to just continue that throughout the rest of your years at high school. It's easier to make habits now when you have more time to get used to them than later when you'll be probably too busy to be able to properly implement them. So like for example, try exercising every day or drinking enough water every day. This tip is pretty important. You need to learn how to manage your time. Time management is a key skill that you'll need to be able to balance school and your personal life. Make sure that you have enough time to finish assignments and study, but you still have time to take breaks and take care of yourself. You also need to be able to balance your energy between extracurriculars, activities, and if you work, your job as well, along with your student life. And it's honestly really hard to get the perfect balance, but you should work on it within your first year when you have the least amount of stuff that you need to do. So regardless of if you can think that you can remember everything, it's better to also have it written down just in case, because we have a lot of things we have to remember sometimes, and it's easier just to go ahead and have everything in a list that we can just go ahead and see what we need to do, mark it off when it's done. So, whether you plan digitally, use a bullet journal, use a planner, or even just a random sheet of paper, you should use something to write down all the plans and assignments that you have to do. So there are pre-made planners, which are the ones you can buy in the store, and they normally have the most structured approach to planning, with monthly, weekly, and some even have hourly spreads. So because of this, pre-made planners are usually the easiest to keep up with, since everything's all spread out and all you have to do is write down what you need to do. Bullet journals are the most creative, but they do require a lot of work to keep up with. But you can make it as aesthetically pleasing as you'd like, or customize it to fit your needs perfectly. There's also digital planning, like using a Google Calendar. Now the pros is that you can change plans really easily. In a bullet journal or a pre-made planner, you wouldn't be able to magically move the event without crossing it out or covering it with whiteout. But if you use a Google Calendar, you can just drag the date over, so that is a plus. Another plus is that it can be accessed from almost any device, regardless of where you are. So if you're at the library, you can still access your Google Calendar. Some people also use a plain calendar and then they write in events, which is also easy to keep up with, and you can see all of your events in a monthly layout. However, the thing is that monthly calendars do not work well with to-do lists since there's not really much space in boxes that you can fit. So you can use like a hybrid system of a calendar with a to-do list, which will work pretty well. The important thing is that you use whichever method works best for you. If you can keep up with it and you really enjoy it, continue doing you. Learn from your mistakes and failures. This is especially important because normally in this year is when people start comparing themselves and realizing that they're not at the top of their class like they were in maybe elementary or middle school. The important thing is that you try your best, but don't beat yourself up over mistakes because it brings down your self-esteem and it puts you in a really bad mental state when you're always thinking about the what ifs and what you could have done. Don't hang on to that. Learn from them and do better next time. Adjust your mindset so that you're okay with making mistakes and failing. That's okay. Just pick yourself back up and try again. That is what is important. Improve yourself and move on rather than holding on to it and staying stagnant. This goes hand in hand with my last point. Don't compare yourself to others. Always comparing yourself to someone else could have an effect on your mental health and self-esteem, as I just mentioned. Trust me, I used to do it a lot in middle school, and it was a difficult period to get through because I was always thinking that I wasn't good enough and that I didn't deserve to be in the class I was in because everyone around me was so smart that I forgot about how I was actually doing pretty good. So in my freshman year this year, well, I guess the year that technically just passed, I decided to change my attitude, and instead of focusing on how I was doing relative to how other people were doing, I just instead focused on myself and how my grades were and how I did on tests, rather than comparing it to whoever was the top of the class. Even if I didn't do absolutely perfect, and again, if I wasn't the top of the class, it was okay. I accepted that because I still did my best and I still did good. It just wasn't as good, you know? It's like instead of always trying to be absolutely perfect, I was okay with lowering my standard a little bit. My standards are still high, but like not as high. It was okay that I didn't get 100. I still got a 98. It was okay that I didn't get an A+. I still got an A. And it's not really all about grades because grades aren't an accurate measure of your intelligence. It's really about how you choose to learn from mistakes, your failures, how you choose to move on, you know? Like, when everyone around you is intelligent, you kind of forget how intelligent you are. And so I've been trying to not forget about that because everyone is talented in their own way. Everyone's smart in their own way. And grades are not an accurate measure of smartness. So don't beat yourself up over not being the best because you're still good. It doesn't matter if you're top of the class. It matters if you learn. Like, competition is just so prevalent in schools that, like, teachers compare students all the time. Parents compare students. We students compare each other too. And so I just want to take a step back and not compare other people. So I don't compare myself to them. I don't compare them to someone else. Because it's just really not a good thing for people's mental health. And I've had some friends that have had a lot of stress over it, and it's not fun. And I don't think we should put ourselves or each other through that. Sorry, that was kind of long. I'm gonna move on to my next point. Turn everything in on time. Teachers in high school and college will be way less lenient with turning in assignments late than your middle school or elementary teachers are. Some accept it, but will probably deduct points. And some people deduct points depending on how many days late it is, or they might deduct the same amount no matter how long. But more often than not, some teachers just don't even accept the assignment late. So get your stuff done on time, submit it on time. Do not procrastinate. Do not wait until it is 11:59 to submit your assignment when it's due the next day. It's not good. And I've watched so many people stress so much because, oh no, they have to submit a project at 11:59 and it's 11:58 and their Wi-Fi just went out, or Google Classroom stopped working, or they're hitting submit and it's not working, and it's just, don't do that to yourself. Don't cause yourself unnecessary stress and just get it done ahead of time. Submit it ahead of time. It's just so much more worth it to work on it when you first get the assignment rather than waiting until the night before to do it and every other class piles on. And my last tip is don't worry too much, because really high school is not as end-all be-all as all the movies and shows try to convince you. This is your transition year, so it's better to make mistakes now rather than later, because people are going to be way more lenient with a freshman. It's not anything like High School Musical, so don't get your hopes up. Don't worry about what other people think of you or if you don't have a lot of friends. It's important to be true to yourself and show off your real personality, because that's how you find real friends. And have fun while you still can, since the first year is going to be the easiest and you will miss the nights where you got enough sleep. Thank you. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like what I do, please feel free to check me out on Instagram and Tumblr. I post new videos on Mondays and Fridays until school starts. And remember, every day is a new opportunity. Bye!